What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 2 of Don't Be Ugly. That's right, it's episode 2. We made it past episode 1.
Which is honestly surprising.
I'm really happy with how that turned out.
I didn't think you could do it.
Me?
Yeah, you have big time commitment issues.
What do you mean?
I mean, whenever you say you're gonna do something, you automatically forget about it like the next day.
That's not true.
That is 100% true.
No, I'm the one, with all the stuff we do, I'm the one who makes the schedules, I plan out everything, I tell you what you have to do, and I do what I need to get done, but you're the one who doesn't come through with any of it.
You want to talk about scuba diving?
What do you mean?
You told Mom that you wanted to be a professional scuba diver, and so you made her pay $10,000 for lessons in the Bahamas, and then a week later you decide that you don't want to do it anymore because you're afraid of water.
And I'm afraid of heights. And heights underwater is a lot. I didn't know how deep the water was. Okay, when you say 100 feet, I'm like, oh, okay, that's like 10 yards. But like when you put it in visual form, like there's so many critters at the bottom of the ocean.
True. Like if you are scared of heights, it makes sense that you would be scared of swimming.
Why?
Because it's like 1,000 feet under you if you're in the ocean. Okay,
if you guys didn't see that one surfer video where the sharks came up and ate the girl's arm. I forget her name. Bethany Hamilton. But I was going to say Bethany Moda, and that's why I didn't want to say the girl's name. I knew her first name was Bethany, but I didn't want to say Bethany Moda because I know Bethany Moda is retired, but she was a YouTuber at this point. She comes up here and there.
She's one of those like YouTubers from 2013 that like no one remembers, but they vaguely do.
But, like, it's one of those deep memories in the back of your head. You're like, I recognize the name. And then you see the picture, and you're like, oh, my God, she's like a relic in American YouTube history. Or worldwide history.
Who are other people like that? Like Tyler Oakley?
But he's still kind of relevant,
really?
Though. Like, he was on that one Amazing Race show.
That was Joey Graceffa.
No, they both were.
They both were?
Yeah. Dude, I want to get on Survivor. So does that mean that if I make it to reality TV that I'm automatically just, like... expired
forever.
I'm expired as a YouTuber.
I mean, I feel like once YouTubers venture off into TV, it goes downhill.
Why?
Like, remember Fred? Like, he got a TV show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but he's still on YouTube and he's getting so many views. And he's doing well for himself.
He still has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, he makes like normal videos, like kind of commentary.
Do they remember who Fred was?
You can explain it.
Kind of a while ago. No, he was like this YouTuber. He was like a child. That he made like
he was a child actor. We know how that turns out.
Yeah, at one point he
it actually turned out well for him.
It turned out well. At one point he had like the most subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it was like 100,000. So that was like in 2007.
Oh my God. If I was there at that point, I would have been the most subscribed person. But then I guess I would be expired. I'd be irrelevant. Yeah. And also I probably would have been like 4. So 4 years old.
How old are you? When were you born?
1999. Someone asked me how old I was the other day, and I was like, 21. And Philip was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Almost 21.
She's like 20, but she rounds up to 21 for some reason.
No, I don't round up. I just forgot how old I was, because my birthday's in less than a month. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm 21. Because I feel like in my head, it's a number that I've wanted to reach forever.
Right, it's a goal.
Yeah, because then I can drink, and I've never even drank before. I've never even had water. Why do you think I look so dry and old all the time? My skin's just dehydrated.
I think the rule only applies to, like, alcohol. Like, you can't drink
Why would
alcohol.
I voluntarily drink, like, nail polish remover or, like, rubbing alcohol? That's disgusting.
Well...
What do you mean?
We can move on.
No. People in Russia actually did that.
Drink what?
I think they were drinking at some point, like, rubbing alcohol. Because they wanted to get drunk, but, like, liquor was so expensive and they didn't have money. Like, that was a thing, I remember.
Caroline, you failed out of every single history class you were in. I really don't trust you.
I haven't had a good relationship with history. I just don't care for it. But obviously, the things that have happened in the past, I'm so sorry about. I'm just saying that I don't have an interest in it.
You're trying really hard not to get in a scandal.
Yeah, I really don't want to get into a scandal.
Everything in history we respect. We understand.
No, I do not respect. I do not respect what happened in history because bad things have happened.
I know, but good
so
things
I don't
have happened
respect the bad things, but I respect the good things. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on in the world, so I'm not going to put a blanket statement out there because no matter what, people would be like, Caroline, you're in the wrong no matter what. So let's just not comment on it.
You have to be very careful as an influencer these days.
Why? Oh, yeah, no, I know that.
Because you can be canceled for anything.
Okay, well, it's so easy to cancel like a subscription. So if someone's canceled, just unsubscribe. Just, you don't want their subscription anymore.
Well, that's what people do. Unsubscribe. Like, that's not a joke. That's actually what happens.
I was just gonna like make a joke about like, oh, I just canceled Amazon Prime. Like, I didn't want the subscription.
No, but like people unsubscribe.
No, I know that. I'm aware of that.
I have this video idea that Caroline doesn't want to do. But basically, it would be to see how many drama channels you could get on in a week.
Dude, I know I want to do it, but like I don't think I would get on any of them.
You could, though.
Because all the stuff in our videos, our YouTube videos, are like, we don't want, like, I know some of our jokes might seem like really out of pocket, like making a joke about coronavirus, saying that all the donations from my fake eyelash business are going to go to coronavirus, but it wasn't. I didn't even say that. I said, I'm really sorry for everyone during these trying times. Get your foot off the tripod. No, seriously, get your foot off the tripod. Last time we were recording, and Philip had his foot on the tripod the entire time, and he was shaking it. And while I was editing, it's like those little things.
Stop going up on tangents.
No, it's those little things. I'm like, stop.
I really want to hear about this eyelash business.
Okay, so we filmed a YouTube video, like, cutting my hair in the dark. And I said that I was cutting my hair because I couldn't get materials to make fake eyelashes because I want to start a new business. I'm a young entrepreneur. I have a lot of ideas. So I was going to cut my hair, make them into fake eyelashes. And I said, I'm sorry for everyone that's going through a hard time right now. They're really trying times during coronavirus. Like, so all the profits I make from these eyelashes are going to go right back into my bank account. And I thought that, I was like, should I cut that joke out? Like, I don't know if it's too far because obviously I don't believe that. Like, my heart really goes out to people, but I don't want to be canceled. So, and I know some of our jokes might seem out of pocket, but like I had a joke about arthritis and I was like, I took it out of the video. I had a joke. I said, my biggest fears in life is, like, getting wrinkles or having arthritis, which I know arthritis is a really hard thing for a lot of old people. So I was like, I don't want to offend my older audience, or sometimes people have early onset arthritis. So I was like, I'm just not going to go there.
I mean, I think that's the best choice, especially for you, because with your 250 subscribers, people definitely are looking to cancel you.
I have so many subscribers at this point, we just shortened the number.
Right.
You left out the 1,000.
250,000, I'm sorry.
I was about to say 100,000, but then I realized that was repetitive. I think I've been out of school for too long.
Wait, 100,000.
Wait,
250,000.
Dude,
shoot.
You should like hold the mic, I feel like, further away from your mouth, because I feel like it's going to be so off balance when we're talking. Sorry if this audio is janky. By the way, we have 2 microphones at this point, so yeah, we've made it. I would just like to say our first podcast did so well, our first episode, that we can afford a new camera and like a tripod. No, not a new camera, recording devices. I'm so into YouTube that I feel like sometimes I call everything filming instead of like recording. So yeah, we have another mic for Philip. I gave him the older one and I have the newer one. Because obviously my voice has to be more crisp and clean, because I am the main host of this podcast. We still only have one camera and there's no editing in this podcast. I feel like it makes it more wholesome. Also, it's easier for me to edit, and it's just expensive. So it doesn't matter though, I'm rich. Yeah, you were talking about CRISPR?
Caroline, no.
Because I wanted to bring up that joke.
Okay, well, it didn't work.
Okay. Why?
No, nothing.
Why?
I said nothing.
Okay, whatever. So we are last episode we gave beauty advice, and last episode I wanted you guys to get to know me a little bit better, because I know on my YouTube channel, if you guys watch my YouTube channel, a lot of you guys think I'm playing a character, which obviously I am. Like, duh, who acts like that in your life? I do.
You do.
I'm just a little bit unstable sometimes, all the time. So I wanted to, like, kind of let you guys get to know me, and I told a few stories on the podcast, but I guess naturally I'm a really sarcastic person, and so is Philip. Like, the way we were talking now and earlier is just like our normal conversations, and I feel like right now we're not being sarcastic, but sometimes I'm very sarcastic and people think I'm trying to play a character, and I'm like, no, this is like literally my personality. And also I had finals exams this week, so I feel like last week I was a total robot and I was like, oh, I'm boring. Like, I re-listened to the episode when I was editing and I was like, this is so bad, I don't like it. And then Philip was like, it's okay, you just post it. And we did, and you guys liked it. So before we get into anything, I do want to say thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting us. If you guys want to support us more, though, you could give us 5 stars if you're listening on iTunes. And you guys could like leave a comment or subscribe and turn on the notifications and do all that jazz. But that's just like if you like us a little bit extra. Like, you don't have to, but like if you really like us, then you will.
Yeah. If you really like us, you give us a 5-star review.
Yeah. But what I was saying, I go off on a lot of tangents. Nothing of what I say ever makes sense. At the end of last week's podcast At the end of last week's podcast episode, we gave advice to our subscribers, but I feel like it would be more beneficial to like give advice in the beginning. So if you're listening just for the advice, you don't have to wait till the end of the podcast. But yeah, we have a caller today.
In our female segment.
Yeah, by the way, female. Woo, we're doing female segment. Female are just voicemails from our listeners. We would call it male, but that is sexist. So, Philip, you want to pull up the podcast, the recording we have?
Yeah, it's on our
really old telephone. And I know a lot of you guys were asking like what we do or like how you guys can leave voicemails. We actually don't have a number yet. I've been giving my number out to random strangers on the street. Not my personal number, but Philip's number. First, a lot of people
have been calling me.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it for you?
No, it's for the podcast, but I just don't appreciate you giving out my number to strangers.
Well, I did it at first because I knew you were lonely, and I really just wanted to give out your number so you would feel like people care about you.
I know, but I don't want random people calling me asking for advice.
But, like, you always just say, Caroline, I live in your shadow, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted you to know that not everyone that likes you only likes you because of me.
What?
You heard what I said.
You don't make sense.
Okay, anyway, onto the female segment. This is why we have
to take away your speaking privileges.
This is not... What is the women's rights amendment?
What?
The amendment for women.
Like the 17th?
Yeah.
The 19th amendment.
Is that for women to vote?
19th is for women to vote, I think.
What is the amendment for women to speak?
I think that was the First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Oh. But there's a lot of like sayings going around like, oh, I'm so happy I can't get coronavirus because I'm a woman, therefore I'm an object and we can't get sick. And I'm an object, like I'm a woman. Yeah. I just thought that was funny. Anyway, onto the female segment.
I don't think that's funny. I think that's pretty offensive.
Well, obviously it's offensive. But like it's one of those jokes where it's like, okay, this is very sarcastic. It's not true. Can you pull up the voicemail?
Yeah.
I've been sitting here waiting.
You're the one with the
I have the phone, by the way. Okay. We're gonna... Okay, this episode of female. Woo. Okay.
Woo.
Okay, you're gonna have to restart that. Start again.
There's an error with
There's an error. He feels really bad at his job. He has one job. He's only my secretary, manager, babysitter. Yes. I might kick you out of this van right now.
Caroline, this listener really wants their advice.
Okay.
Can I just play it again?
Yeah.
Hi, Caroline. I loved your last podcast, but I really need advice. I just got out of prison and I have my first job interview on Sunday, and I really need help perfecting my interview skills so I can snag that job. Seriously, if I don't get a job, my parole officer is going to be on my back. Please give me advice. Thanks.
First of all, if your parole officer is on your back, that's assault.
Yeah, if your parole officer is on your back, you better hit him off.
I don't know if she wants us to say this because she is an ex-con, an ex-felon, but that was Kate. She is a 19-year-old ex-con from the great state of Nebraska.
Des Moines, Nebraska.
Des Moines, Nebraska.
Yeah.
So
Little Rock, Nebraska.
Little Rock, Nebraska.
I forget which city it was. But that's interesting. We've never had a caller calling from...
Is she calling from inside prison or outside of prison?
She's calling... I forget. She might be inside prison, but like she's calling so she can get advice once she gets out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, because once you're out of prison, they just push you out into the real world and you have nothing. So you have to kind of like...
So she needs to get a job. So
a J-O-B, yeah.
And like I know with a lot of...
We know Steve Jobs. We could totally offer her a job. Oh my god, he's dead.
He's dead.
I didn't realize that.
No.
I was trying to make a joke. It wasn't funny.
Yeah, you think people... Okay, whatever. That's...
Okay.
That's evil. No. A lot of, like, prisons, when you get out, you have to get, like, a job.
Yes.
So they know.
Or if you're just a normal person, you probably need a job.
So, like, if
Unless you're a trust fund kid like me.
Right.
But this is my job. Thanks for paying my taxes, you guys.
Can I talk?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Well, if you're like on parole, you need a job to show them you're reintegrating back into society. So obviously it would be hard to get a job because if you do have a criminal record, a lot of employers will look at that and immediately throw your name out of the pile. Out of the pool.
You're automatically a dead fish. You're not allowed back in the water.
Right.
So I have a lot of experience with this because, believe it or not, I am a woman of the working class. A working class woman. I'm also a first class woman, as in I fly first class and I'm also in the 1%. So coming from my perspective, I don't know why you asked this advice, but because we are definitely in very different situations, unfortunately. But from my experience, if you need to go to a job, if you're going to an interview and you're really nervous about it, my first thing is don't even practice.
For your interview?
Yeah, don't practice because it's always true that the first take is always the best take. So don't practice. Don't even look up the company you're going to work for, like the company you're interested in, because you could just make it up along the way and it doesn't sound as scripted, and I think people really appreciate that genuineness.
This is not good advice.
No,
when
it
you
works.
go into an interview, you have to know what you're interviewing for.
No, it works. This is why it works.
Have you ever had a job before?
Okay, it's probably different between men and women. You probably can't relate to this, but she's a female because this is female, not male segment, so back off for a second. I'm going to talk.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, please jump in, but you know what I mean.
No, well, my knees are kind of bad, so I don't know how much jumping you'll get into.
So, if you're, like, really nervous, don't even put time or effort into, like I said, practicing, or, like, getting to know your company or researching your interviewer. What I would do is I would spend the most time on your looks. So by that I mean people don't care what you have to say if you have a pretty face. So basically you could put on a lot of really, like, just cake on the makeup. Like, pretend it's your birthday and you're eating all the cake. Just take it and cake it on. I'm talking foundation. I'm talking blush. I'm talking bronzer. Lip gloss. You can even go for a lipstick. You can go for both. That'll help you get the job quicker. You can go for extreme mascara. Fake lashes. 4-inch heels. The tighter the skirt, probably not good. Go for looser clothing because you want them to focus on your face.
Right.
And I'm talking from experience, so I can say this.
Mm-hmm.
So when your makeup honestly doesn't even have to look that good, because when they're talking, if it looks ugly, then they're going to be paying more attention to your makeup than what you have to say.
Right. And if you're like someone who doesn't have a lot of experience or good ideas, I guess that could help you distract the employer.
Yeah. So if they say, "Oh, what were you in prison for?" You go, "I stole makeup." And they'll be like, "Oh, it makes sense. You just make it up. Literally just make it up."
I don't know. This advice is kind of rubbing me the wrong way.
Why?
Because you're lying to your employer, and like shouldn't you get the job because you're qualified?
Yeah, but she is qualified. The only thing that's holding her back is her record. And I'm not talking about like a music or a DVD or a CD, just her criminal record.
Right. Well, I guess if she wants to change and if this is the only way she can do it, it would be okay.
Okay.
But if you want, I think we should give her like a practice interview.
Okay.
Because definitely if you are watching this, Kate, and you want to know what a good interview looks like, we can show you.
Do you want to be the interviewer and the interviewee?
If you want.
Okay.
So
obviously this tactic wouldn't work because I'm not wearing a lot of makeup right now and I also don't have a criminal record. But I think...
Well, you can just act like you do.
Okay. What did I get in trouble for?
I'll ask you in the interview.
Okay. Well, don't put me on the spot like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
we have no room in this minivan right now. We're trying to, like, adjust so we can see each other.
Okay.
Okay. Hi.
What's your name?
Make sure, okay, my first tip, make sure that especially if you don't have any upper body strength, when you give a handshake, just limp fish. Limp fish all the way.
Your handshake is horrible.
Yeah, but then the thing is, they'll be caught off guard by your handshake that they won't even think about your criminal record.
Well, I'm not thinking about that yet.
Okay, next one. Okay,
Let's go.
You held my hand for too long.
Restart.
Okay.
Hi, what's your name?
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna keep talking. It's kind of like a metaphor. Like, I'm saying limp fish because when you were in the pool of applicants, they didn't throw you out, so you're not a dead fish.
So
they didn't throw you out of the pool. Yeah, you're just like a limp fish. You just have a little bit. You're not a healthy fish. You're just a limp fish. Like, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage.
You have to take this seriously now.
Okay.
Hi, what's your name?
Carolina Rosalia Gonzalez Ricky. That was so good. I totally rolled my R's.
Okay, you can't give commentary.
Okay, no
we'll
commentary.
Give the commentary at the
Okay,
end,
you'll give me advice. Okay. One more time.
3, 2, 1. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Caroline Elizabeth. That's my real middle name.
You have to say your name's Kate.
Okay.
Because, like, you have to put yourself in the caller's shoes. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Kate, and I'm an ex-con. That's my last name, not my criminal record.
Well, it's really nice to meet you. Do you have a resume?
I do not, because I do not have access to the printers, and I am banned from all libraries, or public libraries in our city for something I did, but we're not going to get into that right now, because it doesn't matter. So, well, unfortunately, I could not print out my resume.
I'd like to get into that later in the interview, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. I'm an open book. No pun intended.
Obviously, at Spicy Girl Jewelry, we want to make sure that all of our employees are very good citizens and people who would make a great place in our environment. So we. Are you
looking for models or?
No.
So what's this position? I thought it was I'm a model citizen.
This is for environmental services.
Why is it called Spicy Girl?
Well, like we need someone to clean the offices.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
I can see on your resume you don't have very much work experience or education. So could you explain that to me?
When I was incarcerated, I was able to actually work at the prison, but they won't let me put that on my resume.
Well, what did you do?
I was environmental services there, so I had a lot of experience cleaning bathrooms.
Oh. Well, like what would be the most important skill you learned from that job in prison?
I wouldn't say that there was necessarily one skill. Being in jail, it's like an experience in itself, so there's a lot of skills, so I can't really pick one out.
Well, like if you had to pick one.
My most favorite skill, probably flirting.
Well, not like your favorite, the most like useful for our company.
Okay. Flirting with the security guards.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, flirting with them, because you know what that taught me?
What?
It taught me how to speak to others, specifically men, and it also taught me how to get whatever I want. So therefore, if I did work at your company, I might start off as environmental services as the janitor, but therefore I will flirt my way up to the top.
Ma'am, do you mind if we move on? This is kind of making me uncomfortable.
Okay, yeah, no, that's okay. Where are we moving to? Like Arkansas?
No, we're staying in the office. I mean, like going on with
for sure. Okay.
So, what is one thing that you can bring to the company?
I could bring like cupcakes. Like I'm a really good chef. My mom told me how to make these really good croissants. She's actually not even French, but she taught me how to make them. I could bring them if we had a French day.
No, like I don't want you to bring something to the office. I want you to like bring a personality trait to our company. What's like something that you could bring to our company that would improve it? If that makes the question easier.
Next question, please.
No, I'd really like to hear the answer.
What was the question?
You know what? We can move on.
Okay.
I just have one final question for you. And if you were at our company, where do you see yourself at our company in 5 years?
Like I said, if my plan goes well, I will flirt my way up to the top, and I would like to be the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. If that's not good enough, yeah, but I could be your right-hand woman. I could be the COO, the coup. I could be the CFO, the foo. I could be the UFO, the alien. I could also be a piano. You guys get it? Piano.
That's not funny.
That's funny to me.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Why? But
you didn't even talk about your makeup.
No, but the thing is, I didn't have to talk about it. I told you before just to pretend like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. So you had to envision that in your head.
I know.
Obviously, I'm not wearing a lot of makeup because I don't need it.
No offense, but your answers were so bad that even though your makeup was so distracting, I still wouldn't hire you.
But the thing is, you have to, when you're going for a job interview, you have to give answers that are so out of pocket that they'll remember you. There's no doubt in my mind that if you were a real interviewer, that you would forget me.
I wouldn't forget you, but I definitely would remember to put you on like a restraining order to make sure you come nowhere near our company.
Why?
Because you were horrible.
No, I wasn't. I was good.
I wouldn't even care that you're an ex-con. I don't even care if you like robbed a bank. But your interview was so bad.
Okay.
Have you even had a job before?
I have had a job.
You've had a job.
I've had Paper route. I didn't do it half the time, but I still got paid.
What's a paper route?
A paper route is where the local company gives you papers.
Local company?
The local newspaper company, think Dunder Mifflin, but of the news. They just have someone drop off papers at your house. This is kind of an ancient idea, considering that no one reads the newspaper anymore. And if you are, hi, you're part of my older population that watches my videos. But basically, you just fold up the newspaper and you throw it on people's porches and doorsteps. But the thing is, I would actually go up to people's doorsteps. I wouldn't walk in their grass, and I would drop it off at the doorstep because I was like that good at my job.
That's really responsible.
Yeah. Babysitter.
You were a babysitter?
Yeah, I didn't babysit babies though, so I would say child sitter or like little kid sitter. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a like anything sitter sounds weird. Babysitter. Why would you sit on babies?
What about stander? Like you could be a baby stander.
Well, I did have a lemonade stand. I was a stander. I was also a bystander most of my life because I never intervened in any situations.
Yeah.
Like ever, just any situation.
Anyone.
Yeah, I've only helped myself, but barely that even. So,
what else?
I worked as a golf caddy. If you guys don't know what that is, if you guys are privileged enough like me to go to golf courses, my parents didn't belong to one, but my parents' friends did. So I would carry the golfer's golf bag. Yeah, you guys probably would never think that I would do that, but I did.
For how long?
4 or 5 years. And I was the first person ranked to honor caddy within their second year, I think, ever. Well, maybe second person. I was also caddy of the year, and I beat all the boys in my second year. So if you guys are really talking about work experience, I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, maybe I got the job because of nepotism.
Or capitalism.
Capitalism. We all work for our money.
That was so bad.
I don't really know what nepotism, capitalism, socialism, any of that means. Don't try to school me right now. I don't care. I just finished my classes.
Do you know what democratism is?
Being able to vote for your leader.
Supreme leader. I love that brand.
I love the brand. I was about to say that.
Oh my gosh. I wonder who the CEO of Supreme is, because they could call it the Supreme
They probably
leader.
they probably have like a big head. Because literally, I'm the CFO of Supreme. Like, how can you own Supreme? Like, how do you think you're the best of Supreme?
Like, you're the Supreme
You're already the
leader.
best,
Yeah.
but you're already the best. That doesn't make sense. And then my most recent job, besides like YouTube and my jewelry business and being a model, an actress, singer, dancer, dentist, student body president of the United States. Huge resume. If you guys need resume tips, I got you.
You can just loan them some of your experience.
Yeah, if you guys...
I feel like it's so much.
I could, like, give it out. Just, like, if you need a reference, just put my name down. I could be, like, your manager, and then I will speak very highly of you.
Yeah, like, if you need a reference number, just put down female, because, like, we'll
I was about to say, like, we could get some of your bosses on here leaving voicemails, like, hey, Stacy said that you're her boss, just wondering, and then we could, like, answer
back,
that. Yeah. Because they're asking for advice. They're asking about how
someone
this person...
else.
Yeah, exactly. And then my most recent job in high school for 3 summers was I was a waitress at a local, not even local, Bob Evans.
It's like... Yeah, Bob Evans is like a national chain, I think.
But I feel like it's mostly Midwest where we live.
Like a Midwest chain. What do they do? Like, what is
It's
Bob
a breakfast.
Evans?
It's like, he's a freaking... Oh, I couldn't say that. I had to bleep that out. He is an old man. He's probably dead at this point. Honestly, he may have been just a fictional character. It's just a franchise. They made a lot of money off that man's name. Our camera just, like, died.
Yes.
Okay. So Bob Evans is basically a breakfast chain. It's like Perkins.
Or Denny's.
Or Waffle House. You guys get the gist. It's a local one in the Midwest near where I live. Near where Philip lives too.
Yeah, because we live in the same house. You'd never believe it.
Why?
But,
we
are siblings.
Shut up. So, I worked there for like 3 summers, and the only reason I quit is because I wanted to pursue YouTube. And also I was leaving for work one day, and we have like a brick patio way and brick stairs down to like our driveway, which is currently a used car lot right now because we got like 15 cars in our parking lot because everyone's home because of quarantine. But yeah, basically I worked at Bob Evans. I quit because I twisted my ankle, but I think I sprained it. And then I still went into work even though I couldn't walk and my ankle was purple and swollen. And then I got to work and I was limping, basically holding back tears, like sucking them back up. My eyelashes almost fell out. And my managers were like, you're just being dramatic. Like, I don't know why you're crying right now. And I'm like, oh, that's because you put me on the floor by myself. at noon, which is when all like the people come in here to like eat, you know, because it's a breakfast place. And yeah, you put me on the floor by myself. Literally, I was just laying on the floor. No. When you're a waitress, basically the floor, you get assigned sections. And like I was the only waitress there at that moment. And I like couldn't walk. My ankle was purple. My managers were telling me to stop being a baby. And so I started to cry. And then I said, I need to go home or else I'm going to quit. And then I said, yeah, I'll be back. Because my brother still worked there at that point. We worked there together, my older brother,
Not
Henry.
Me.
Yeah. So I worked there. And then I told my boss that I couldn't go in because my ankle was still swollen because I just wanted to hang out with my friends because eventually after like 2 days it got better. But then Henry quit. So I was like, oh, I don't have to go back. I'm not going back. I was only maintaining face because of Henry. I didn't want his managers to hate him because they already hated me enough. So yeah, I just went back in. I said, hey, I can't work at least for a week, and they're like, okay, we're gonna need a doctor's note. And I'm like, I haven't been to the doctor since I got a shot in 8th grade.
How dare they ask for doctor's notes when they don't even give you health insurance?
Exactly. Yeah, how am I supposed to go to the doctor? How am I supposed to afford that? Excuse me.
Besides like your parents.
That's a whole different issue.
No, like I want to hear more about like your work stories today.
Okay,
not your quitting stories.
Okay, but can I say my cousin broke her ankle 2 days before we were supposed to go to Miami like 2 years ago. That's a lot of math. Sorry about that. But so she had a ankle brace, like a full-on broken ankle brace, like a huge boot. So I wore that in and I said, "Oh, I can't work. Like I'm like I can barely walk." And they're like, "Okay, let us know. We love to have you back next summer." I said, "Oh, so when I'm about to quit is the only time you actually appreciate me." Right. Even though I was one of the best people there and I was the only one who actually did their job and cleaned up. I don't do that anymore. We have maids. On to a different topic. I could tell you the worst story.
Yeah, I want to hear some of these work stories and how you used your beauty.
So...
Because, like, I know being a waitress, a big part of getting tips is, like, how you appear.
I actually did an experiment, well, mostly out of laziness. So if I had makeup on, I wouldn't take it off. I would just go to work in makeup. And then some other days I just wouldn't wear makeup. And I got tipped the same. People were mean. One time a lady just left me a quarter.
She left you a quarter?
Yeah. And not like $250,000, like just a quarter. And I was like, this is disrespectful. But half the time you can only see your tips. Like you can tip on card when you're paying on card and you pay at the register. You don't pay at the table. Like you go up to the register after you eat and you pay. I just thought of another funny story. I'll tell that in a second. But so I couldn't really see if people left me a tip or not. And I'm guessing by my paycheck amount, I didn't get tipped very often. But the thing is, I was good. People were just mean. Like people were so mean. These people made me cry because I was on the floor with one other person. It was such a busy night. And this lady had like 6 kids, and on Tuesdays kids eat free. So her kids were being little brats. And I'm like, first of all, if you're going to go to a restaurant, you can't be rude to your waitress or waiter. I've never done anything to food, like I've never spit in it or anything, but I'm sure it happens. People stick their fingers in coffee as you're filling up your mug.
That's hot.
Cold brew,
coffee.
Whatever.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, like you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, and I can tell you it happens. I've never done it, once again. My attorney, my friend, my attorney would be really sad if I admitted that. But I swear, like, I've never done anything to people's food because I respect people too much. Mm-hmm. But this lady made me cry because they were asking for so much. They were being so mean. We were out of chicken, and they could not believe that we were out of chicken, and they were yelling at me for it. And I'm like, ma'am, I am not the chef, and I am not God. I cannot make this stuff disappear out of nowhere. Right. Stop yelling at me. Go to a different restaurant. And Applebee's is down the street.
Their kids were eating free. Like, you can't complain.
And so I start crying because I'm just like so done. No, in the back. I was just so done. But thank God the only people on my shift besides the chef was always a guy. The kitchen cleaner was always a guy. They always hired men for that job. I don't know why. And they always only hired like female hostesses. It's weird. Whatever. But yeah, that happened. And my manager, she was like, like all the waitresses were female. My manager was female. So they're like, we get it. Like, you've just had a long day. You're overworked. These people are being really mean. So my manager went out to the table. She goes, this girl's going to college in 3 weeks and you just made her cry. You can leave this restaurant right now. And that's the only time I've ever had respect for my managers because that's the only time they were actually nice to me.
Did they leave?
Yeah, they tried to tip me, And I told her, they tried to tip me like $10. I think they got their food to go and they didn't even have to pay for it because my manager was like, just leave. Yeah, it was that bad. And I looked at her and my manager turns back to me. They're like, we want to give her a tip. And I basically, we were talking through my manager. I was being so mean, and I've never been confrontational, especially at work before. And I literally looked at my manager with the people right behind her trying to give me money. And I said, I don't want their money. And I walked away. Oh my and my manager was like, I respect it. She's like, they'll never be back here.
Yeah, they're definitely never coming back to Bob Evans after that.
Dude, good. People complain for no reason. They'll call corporate, and corporate will give them gift cards. Like, just give them gift cards.
Yeah. Don't you, like, if you're at a restaurant and you complain to the manager, don't you get free stuff?
If you complain to corporate, if you complain to manager, like, oh, the food was cold, they'll probably take it off your bill because, like, a restaurant chain like that, they have a lot of repeat customers and they don't want to lose them. Or if someone has had a bad experience and goes to corporate, then corporate will literally, they don't want that bad word getting around, so they'll give you stuff for free to keep you coming back. So yeah, that happened. And another interesting story that happened to me was this lady didn't leave a tip, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? She asked for so much. Like, this is so rude. And I know she didn't leave a tip because she paid in cash. So, and she didn't leave money at the table. But she left, and I was like, dang, that stinks. But she left her computer there.
Aww.
Yeah, and she also didn't pay her bill. I forgot. She dined and dashed. She didn't tip me. She didn't pay her bill.
But she left her computer.
Left her computer. So I told my manager, I'm like, yo, you're going to have to cancel this order because we can't cancel orders or change orders once it's in the system because they don't want us stealing money. So yeah, I told my manager that. She goes, oh, sweet. Let me see the receipt that she didn't pay for. Put it on top of her computer. Took it back to the office. And she goes, she's going to come back for this computer. And we could call the cops if we wanted. So I don't know if she's going to come back. She eventually did. Still didn't leave me a tip. And I wish her nothing but bad things.
So she had to...
But not in life, just bad karma.
Could you imagine?
Because I'm not that mean of a person.
After dining and dashing, you have to go back.
Yeah.
And then pay for your meal.
Well, I couldn't imagine because I'm not that terrible of a person.
Right. Yeah. You could never imagine because you've never done anything bad.
Yeah, I haven't. I think the worst thing I've ever done was like go 1 mile over the speed limit. If you're not from the U.S., kilometers, feet, inches, centimeters, millimeters. Yeah, we're talking about distance. But yeah, besides that, like I probably put in more effort to like the way I looked when I was a waitress than I do for my YouTube videos. And for a second, I was like, dang. I was watching my old videos and I was like, wow, I really don't put much effort into the way I look. Like, I rarely wear makeup. And that's just because I'm lazy. And people were like, no, it adds to your character. Also, holding your camera 2 inches from your face adds to your character, too.
Yeah, you do not try with your camera angles. I'm going to be honest.
I look so bad. I look so bad in my videos. And I didn't even try. It just kind of happened. Like, I didn't know you're not supposed to hold your camera, like, an inch from your face like I do. People ask me if I do it on purpose. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally had no clue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. But I probably put more effort into putting on makeup and like as a waitress than I do for YouTube.
Well, like that leads me to the question, does like pretty privilege exist? Like, do you get more tips or do you get like better treatment if you are better looking?
See, I've only looked the same my whole life.
So you wouldn't know.
So I wouldn't know, but I was also putting on makeup one time, like BB cream and all. Like I put BB cream is like a moisturizer, like a tinted moisturizer. It's like kind of like foundation, but it's moisturizing. And it's a lighter coverage. I did that. I did my highlighter. I did my bronzer. I did my mascara. And my friend comes in and goes, okay, when are you getting ready? And I'm like, I just got ready. She's like, oh, you're wearing makeup? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I couldn't tell, but it's a good thing. And I'm like, thank you. Okay. I just put in like half an hour of work, but it's fine. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know because our whole life, like, I would say we've honestly been sheltered. And I'm saying that, like I acknowledge that. Like, I went to an all-girls high school, private school. I went to Catholic school my whole life. And then it was only when I went to college that I went to public school for the first time. So we've been pretty, like, sheltered our whole life. So, I mean, I would say yes. Pretty privilege obviously exists because people will treat you better just by the way you look, which I think is messed up, but it's true.
And like, so Kate, if you're still listening to this after we gave you your advice, if you don't remember, Kate's the prisoner who called in to female. I would agree that you should wear makeup to your interview.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be, like, that much, like I said. But
So
that's only
you're
if...
changing your story.
No,
huh?
you didn't let me finish. You don't have to wear that much makeup if you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're unprepared, you have to get a hot outfit and look hot.
So pretty privilege only exists if you're dumb and you need to make up for it.
No, pretty... Look up a What Would You Do episode with John Quinones. You all know that TV show, What Would You Do, where they create fake situations for people to react. Yeah. I'm sure that they have one about pretty privilege. They have one about everything. That show's been going on forever. They need content. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty privileged. Coming from you, what would you say? Do you look at someone and treat them differently if they're prettier? Like, say if a girl came up to you. She was wearing sweats and, like, she was, like, kind of, like, whatever. Not in a bad way. Just, like, she wasn't wearing makeup. She just woke up. Like, imagine me in my YouTube videos if you're a fan, if you're a caroler. Or if a girl came up to you and was asking for directions, and she was like full glam, fake lashes, everything, 4-inch heels, would you give her the right directions? Or would you give them the wrong directions?
I would never give anyone the wrong directions unless you were asking.
But what if it was like, what if they were asking about One Direction?
No.
Like Zayn? Harry?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, never mind.
But like...
Bad joke.
I feel like I personally don't treat anyone different.
Yeah.
But I feel like in like situations where it could come to an advantage, like people would. Like for job interviews and stuff.
I've heard that actually is a thing.
You can, like, people...
Taller men, if you are a taller man, like, especially than the person you're interviewing, you're more likely to get the job. And that's so sad, but that's what I've learned in my business classes. Like, they talk about this. They're like, yeah, the sad reality is that this does happen. And if I'm being serious, like, obviously I would never treat someone different. Like, I personally don't treat someone different based on the way they look. I treat someone based on how they treat me. So if you're a just horrible person... I'm going to treat you very nice. And if you're very nice, I'll treat you very nice. And you want to know why? Because my parents raised me right.
Or left.
Yeah, probably more left. I'm a little bit skewed with my personality and everything. My charm.
And your trust fund. And
my trust fund.
Everything good about you.
Yeah.
So not much.
But yeah, pretty privileged, like, it does exist.
It does. Especially, yeah, like you were saying, like, people may not try to do it. But everything is, like, very subconscious.
Have you guys seen those movies where it's, like, the woman boss goes for her secretary who's a guy and he's young? And she hired him because he was young and cute. Like, that's a thing in movies, but that happens in real life. And it's the opposite, too. We have all these people, like... They hire people because they think that they can, like, have a relationship there. Or just because they want someone nice to look at. Which I think is messed up, but it's true.
Like, secretaries, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, not the ones in your school who, like, are, like, 80 years old. But, like, the ones for, like, flashy corporations. Like, at least in all, like, the movies I watch. They definitely
once again, sheltered.
Well, like, everyone's sheltered right now.
Have you ever had a job?
Because we can't exactly leave the house.
Shut up. We're in a van, so...
Well, I've had pretty much every job you've had. Because once again, I live in your shadow.
Phil does live in my shadow. Also, if something works for... We have 6 kids in our family, so a lot of you guys don't know that. But if something works for the oldest kid, it works for everyone else.
Like, if... It goes down to, like, the smallest detail. Like, if the oldest kid did a certain club in grade school, we all have to do that club.
It's like our oldest brother, Michael... If he decided what sport he wanted to play, and then we all played the same sport. Not a joke.
Cross country.
We all ran cross country. And it's also, like, my dad, I love him. I'm so grateful he raised us this way, because I would be a quitter. I would have quit YouTube such a long time ago. But it's like, if Michael decided to do cross country, oh, cool, it worked for him. Keep in mind, he ran 1 season till his knees got shredded and he couldn't run anymore. But then we all had to run for 4 years because our dad wouldn't let us quit. It's not like, oh, you start a season, you don't like the sport, you get to quit after the season. It's like, no, you started a sport, you don't quit for 4 years until you can't play anymore when they don't have a team for you.
Yeah. A lot of parents are like, you can't quit. You just can't, if you don't want, if you have to finish the season and after that, you can, like, stop doing it. But, like, we're like, if you start it, like, I started cross country in, like, 6th grade in grade school. And I had to do it till 12th grade.
Same. I only got to
like,
quit my junior...
Crazy.
I quit my senior year so I could practice for my ACT.
How did that go?
I didn't do that. I didn't improve. So that really was down the drain. And so was my physical fitness and muscle mass. Still have never regained it. Never really had it in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know where you're coming from.
But yeah, no, our dad, like, if I would read a book, like, I would start a book and I wouldn't like it. And it was, like, a long book. I remember telling my dad I didn't like Harry Potter book and I read, like, a chapter. He said, oh, no, you have to finish. You start when you finish what you start. You don't just quit. Yeah, we, like, my family goes to mass every Sunday, and I swear, like, never in our life have we ever missed mass. Like, we even watch it on TV during quarantine while churches are closed. But we were altar servers from the time we were in 5th grade all the time until we were a senior in high school. That means serving, like, with the priest, like, twice a month.
And what is, like, altar serving, if they don't know?
So, like, if you're not, like, Christian or Catholic, I don't know how many Christian religions have altar servers, but basically you just aid the priest with, like, handing him, like, holy books or, like, holy water, basically. Right. And you're basically, like, his maid, but for the altar. So...
During Mass.
Yeah, assistant, that is the word. During Mass. So we did that, and we would schedule our work schedules around serving. So, like, that was always a thing for us. So we had a paper out. Henry decided to have a paper out. Therefore, he handed down the paper out every year. And it was to the point where Philip and Charles weren't making any money that my parents were like, oh, you can finally quit.
Right. Like, I had to be like, I'm in 12th grade, Dad. Can I please not have a paper out anymore?
And it's not
like,
even...
a paper out is like a job for, like, 8-year-olds.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I quit my sophomore junior year of high school, and it wasn't even that profitable in the end. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I have a full-time job. I'm waitressing and all that stuff. So yeah, if, like, one thing works for someone, it just works for the rest. And honestly, it's worked out, though. Because, like, what sport would we have played if we didn't run cross country? Because I know when I was in 4th grade, my mom actually, they told me they didn't have a soccer team anymore. They kind of just shut down suddenly, and it was because I would kick people trying to get the ball. But my skill was that I would just kick people while I was trying to get the ball.
They told you that the soccer team didn't exist because they didn't want you to play?
Yeah, like, the referees and people's parents would complain to my mom after soccer practice. Keep in mind, she never told me until I was in high school.
And so she said she lied to you about it, the soccer team getting dissolved.
Yeah, and that was the only time.
So she didn't have to tell you that no one wanted you on the team.
And that was the only time I got to quit. And it wasn't even my choice. It was like, oh, there's no soccer team for you anymore. And that was one sport I actually liked. And everything else I hated. Oh, drama club. We were in drama club for like 5 years in grade school. 4 years. 2 plays a year. Yeah. The thing is, all my siblings liked it, except for me. So it was, like, not even an option for me. It's like, oh, Henry likes it. Henry's the main part. Philip's the main part, and it's his first year of drama club. Caroline hasn't had a line in 5 plays. Never had a line, ever. I had 3 lines at one point. I was pedestrian number 3. And keep in mind, we still had to go to practice, like, 3 or 4 times a week. And I would just sit there. I'm like, there's no point of me being here. And my dad, to this day, even says that I am so lucky that I did drama club because it's really helped me out with what I'm doing now on YouTube. I'm like, Dad, no, this is just natural. I just grew into myself. But drama club and acting didn't help.
It helped.
It was our 4th grade teacher teaching the plays.
She was super nice.
Yeah, I loved her.
It helped a lot of people. I just don't think it helped you because everything you do, you hate. Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. Everything Caroline does, she automatically hates it.
Besides like, YouTube and stuff I'm doing now, because I feel like it was my decision. If I decided that I wanted to do all those things, I definitely would have enjoyed it more. And I do YouTube because I genuinely love it. And before I had YouTube, I literally didn't have any hobbies. I would do stuff because I was forced to. And that's why I felt like a prisoner in my own mind. Like, yeah, Kate, you might be a prisoner, but I'm also in my own mental prison, so which one's worse?
Yeah.
Probably Kate's situation, because she actually has a record.
Yeah, I feel like being actually incarcerated in the United States might be worse.
It's obviously worse. What do you mean? Go back to that point. What do you mean I hate everything?
I mean that, literally, I can't think of one activity, like you were saying, that you, like, got excited for besides, like, YouTube or, like, I guess this podcast. But we're only on episode 2, so we'll see.
No, I enjoy this a lot. One thing I got excited about, Like, whenever I would come home when my mom was still a stay-at-home mom and she would have cake ready, I would get excited. I loved eating.
Well,
I still do. Clearly. It ain't a secret.
Well,
I eat healthy food now, though. Okay, other hobbies. I like soccer. Volleyball. I played volleyball for 5 years.
Like volleyball.
No, I love volleyball.
You hated volleyball.
I was good at it.
No, you weren't.
No, I loved it.
You were on, like, the B team.
Yeah, so better than C.
Okay, because, like, in volleyball there was, like, 3 teams.
And basketball at our grade school.
A, B, and C, right?
Yeah.
And, like, the good people were on A team.
Yeah.
And, like, the average people were on B team.
Yeah, well, I was
like,
average.
If you really liked volleyball, wouldn't you be on A team?
No, you don't have. Okay, no, that's sending a bad message to our viewers. Just because you're not good at something doesn't mean you should pursue it. Unless you're not good at singing, because there's no hope for you. Coming from an actual Juilliard alumni myself, my alma mater, Juilliard, and I'm not talking Juilliard, my friend. I'm talking Juilliard, the school. I know what I'm talking about. So, just because you're not good at something doesn't mean you should pursue it. It's called getting better. Like, our first episode, I'm not gonna lie, was really good, but doesn't mean we should quit, you know?
Right.
We're still going. I did YouTube for like a whole year, 6 months before any video got like more than 20 views, and look where I am now.
Yeah, you were making
such a change and impact. Billions? I'm just making money doesn't matter at this point. It's all about your experiences. If
money doesn't matter, how come you don't pay me?
If money doesn't matter, why do you care if you get paid or not?
Money doesn't matter.
We're not getting into this anymore.
Money matters to me, though.
No, I genuinely never like what I do. And my mom told me the other day, she goes, besides obviously YouTube podcasts, that stuff.
Yeah, you said that before.
I just want to clarify because I don't want people being mad at me. Like, why are you doing it? Shut up. So mom goes, oh, because we were watching a show in like 5 minutes and I was like, this sucks. So I'm going to change the channel. And my mom goes, Caroline, you have a really short attention span. I'm like, yeah, mom, because I know at this point what I like and what I don't like. So I'm just not going to sit through something that takes half an hour to get good. I'm sorry, but if you made a show and you paid all that money for the show, you better make it good. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't take half an hour for the episode to get good. Just make it good. It's not that hard.
Well, like, you're putting something out there now. And, like, what if people are like, dang, like, the Don't Be Ugly podcast sucks until, like, the last minute.
But they haven't said that, so it doesn't matter.
True.
Also, we didn't pay millions of dollars for this. We only spent money on the microphones and the van.
It did cost millions. Pretty close.
Yeah, it was, like, really expensive. Like, we have a huge corporate budget. But, yeah, that's what I have to say. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
It's been fun, though.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Thank you guys for supporting this podcast. We really appreciate it. One more time, give us a like. Give us a rating. Give us a shout out to your friends. You know, take a minute right now. Send this to your mom. Mm-hmm. And send this to your dad. And we honestly should read a favorite comment of the week. Because I got a DM from this girl. Or a guy, I don't remember. And they were like, oh, Caroline, me and my mom were watching your podcast at 4 a.m. and our water broke from laughing so much. As you can tell in my voice. That's exactly, yeah, really exciting. But I loved that comment. And I love reading all your guys' comments. I do read them all. And I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Good thing I don't think we hit a lot of turbulence on this episode.
Yeah, I feel like we could have cured your ugliness.
Yeah.
With this podcast, you may need to come in for a couple more treatments, so definitely tune in for the next episode.
Great advice, Philip.
Which will be coming next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday.
Every Monday. We release a new one.
That's Monday for everyone who didn't hear that. Mm-hmm. So I love you all. I'll see you next episode. Mwah!